Hey boys, welcome back to the channel, and it's going to be a round 2 discussion and analysis video. We'll get straight into the matches here. First off, we had the Eels downing the Melbourne Storm 16 points to 12 in a not great conditions. Honestly, I'm trying to remember the game. They were pretty bad conditions, weren't they? Yeah, it was pretty shocking. Honestly, the game itself was okay. It probably, I think both teams weren't at their best. I mean, let's be real. The Storm definitely didn't play at their best, without a doubt. The Eels, I thought, were definitely I'm just sort of looking at the stats here for a second, but I mean, the Eels were definitely the better. Definitely the better team in the first half. I thought the Storm, coughed up the ball a lot. But it was only six points apiece. Both teams had their chances. Both teams came up with errors. Second half, the Eels just played better. Just played the better for the majority of the game and got the win. And it shows the difference a week makes, dude. I mean, the Storm came out firing in round 1. Looked incredible. Faded away in the second half against the Rabbitohs, which would have been disappointing for Bellamy. And then to back it up with this performance, he wouldn't be pleased. And I'd hate to be versing the Storm in round 3. That is for sure. But then on the flip side, I mean, the Eels, they started awfully against the Bronx. The Bronx could have definitely pipped them in that game, and they come out and beat the Premiers. In a pretty good clash. I thought, Gutherson obviously came up with quite a few try savers. I still think, I don't know, I'm 50-50 on that one with sliding him with the knees. It's a tough one. I'm sort of, if I was a Storm supporter, I'd probably be more pressed to be like, there should have been a penalty or penalty try even. I don't know. But, being unbiased, not really following either side, it's a tough one because he was just sort of trying to slide in and get low. But, I mean, it did contact his leg. So, I don't know. That one was that's a 50-50 call that went the Eels' way. But I will be on... Dude, so I don't know if I'm the only one that saw this. I'm sure other people did. I did tweet it as well. But the Justin Olam try in the 73rd minute, Pappenhausen kicked it through. It ricocheted. And then it came off Pappenhausen again. It won... Dude, it 100%... It bounced off and hit him in the shoulder, in the upper bicep. Now... They didn't really look at it or say anything about it, but I'm pretty sure that's a knock-on. I don't know, maybe your shoulder and your biceps definitely part of your arm, and it clearly hit his arm, and then that's when Justin Olam scored. So, I don't know, I haven't really heard anything about that. I mean, the Eels ended up winning, so I guess, they didn't really need to come out and whinge about it, but I don't know. Put it in the comments. Did you guys see that? Am I losing my mind? But I'm sure that Justin Olam try shouldn't have been a try. I'm sure it came off Pappenhausen's arm. But other than that, I mean, it was, it's hard to really split them in this game. I mean, obviously the Eels did win, but any team could have won this one. I did think the Storm were gonna get them at the end. Especially going into the break, I thought 6 points apiece. The Storm didn't play well in that first half. The Eels definitely had the running and only level. I thought the Storm would come home the stronger, but no, they stood up once again. Reid Marnie played exceptional once again. He's probably been the form dummy half of the start of the comp. He's been superb. Junior Paulo again, very, very good. Ryan Madison obviously going off with that concussion. I'm not really going to talk too much about the Kafusi thing. I don't know, dude. Was he trying to? Maybe a little bit. I don't know. You see those type of tackles a lot, though, where the forwards slam their head into the ground. His elbow was there. I I don't know, man. I don't know. I know a lot of people will think it is deliberate, and maybe it was. Who knows? Who knows really if he tried to sort of elbow him. I will say he definitely should have got sin binned, because that is the rule. A player went off with concussion and he got put on report. It wasn't like the ref thought that it was accidental, and or not that he thought it was accidental, but it wasn't like he didn't get penalised for it. He got put on report, so 100% Kaufusi should have gone to the bin. So that was a weird one. I don't know why he didn't go to the bin, because that was sort of the new rule last year, that if it's foul play, a player gets injured, that they were sending them. So yeah, that was strange in my opinion. But yeah, the Eels just too good in this one. I didn't think, again, the halves, it's hard to really, I didn't think Brown or Moses were really that exceptional. You know, Munster or Hughes weren't really that exceptional. I think it was just the overall, I think their forward pack for the Eels just was a little bit stronger. Probably the outside backs Matt Casivo, he gave George Jennings an absolute bar. So that was probably the difference maker. Big Sivo got a couple of beauties with the high kick. So that was probably the difference maker in the end on the edge there. Then we flip it to the Warriors Knights. So I did get this one up. I tipped the Knights who came home late. I didn't get to watch all this game. I saw like the first half. I didn't get to watch, so I was I got to watch most of the games, but Friday night's games I didn't get to see. So the next one, the Gold Coast V Broncos, which I was disappointed with, but I was out that weekend, went to watch the Cowboys game. So Friday, it was on in the background, but didn't really see much of it. But this game, I thought the Knights would win. I thought it would be a good clash, and it looks like it ended up being that. So yeah, obviously, at the end of the day, the goal kicking was the difference maker, because three tries apiece. You know, Barnett has been exceptional with the beats. I'll be surprised if Ponga actually regains the kicking duties when he comes back from injury, because I mean Barnett, he can definitely slot them, and Ponga, Ponga's decent. He can definitely kick a good ball, but he's not the best goal kicker. So I don't know. I think you'd keep it on Barnett. But Jaden Brayley, once again, I mean, I said Reed Marnie has been the form dummy half, but Jaden Brayley also playing on the back of the big Knights forward pack has done very well, and it's good to see. I mean, he's a new recruit. I'm pretty sure he played the one game last year, maybe two. So he's basically a new recruit. Frizzell has been good. I thought Phoenix Crossland in that first half looked pretty good coming in for Kurt Mann. Obviously, the late switch with Kurt Mann being ruled out injured, which I talked about in the preview, that I still, even if Kurt Mann did get ruled out, I was still tipping the Knights, because I thought that they had good cover there with Crossland, or if they went with Connor Watson starting at 5'8", but I do really love Connor Watson on the bench. You know, having a guy like Connor Watson, even the Warriors with Jazz Tavanga, just so he's quick. Well, I mean, Tavanga's not that quick, but he's got the footwork, he's got the offload. Connor Watson's that nippy, you know, fast attacking player. It's really beneficial, especially in this type of footy, the way the game is played with the speed and all that. So yeah, Connor Watson on the bench, or even if he starts in a fast track, very, very handy for the overall sort of structure and balance to a team. I think a lot of teams do have sort of a backup and a utility now, but I think a lot of teams could do well with, you know, signing a sort of specialist 14, not just a backup dummy half, but like a guy that can play multiple positions. They're sort of, you know, in the past they've sort of been guys like Tyrone Peachy as well. You know, they've been guys that, you know, where do you play them? And, you know, maybe they don't get as much money as other players because they don't really have a set spot. But I feel like the way the game is going, that those type of players are going to be not a dime a dozen, but they're going to be worth a lot, just for that depth and just versatility. But yeah, the Warriors look pretty good. I mean, their forward pack again is very, very strong. I mean, I think Ben Murdoch-Masila had a good game, second game back. Anthony Blake once again was very strong in the first half. So, yeah, the Warriors definitely have a lot to look forward to. But, both these, like I said, this game will be a good little indication of who's a contender and who maybe isn't. And I still think both these teams, I do think only one of these teams will make the top 8. And unfortunately, I'm definitely leaning towards the Knights. I do feel like the Warriors are going to miss out on the top 8, which will be disappointing because I think they've got the team that should make it. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see. They could definitely have a string of wins, but I think they need that. Then we have the Titans Broncos. So I'm not. It's probably a good thing I didn't watch. I literally didn't watch any of this game. Like I said, it was on in the background. I probably saw like a snippet here and there, but I wasn't watching it, which is probably a good thing. The Titans winning. But again, at least the Titans. This was a good game because one of the Queensland teams was going to get a win here, and the Titans they are the sort of the team that's tipped to do well this year. So overall it's probably a good thing that they did get a win, because if they didn't beat the Bronx, it would have been like, well, the new signings, everything that's changed, not much has really evolved. So it's probably, overall it's probably a good thing for the Titans. Obviously disappointing for the Bronx. Yeah, but not much else. Like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I can't really comment too much about it. But it looks like, of course, Dave Fafita just dominates his old club. Jared Wallace against his old club gets a try, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, disappointing for the Bronx, and a good win for the Gold Coast. Also, look at that, dude, 18,000 at a Gold Coast game. That's pretty solid. I should be looking at the attendance numbers. Let's have a quick look at that, because that seems really good. It is Titans v Broncos, so you would expect a high number, but this one, 10,000 at an Eels home game. Again, I don't know what the rules are for capacity, but also wet conditions. Actually, no, they say conditions good. Was it wet? I can't even remember, dude. Honestly, that game, I can't remember the conditions. It's a fuzzy Thursday, Friday for me. At Central Coast here, they don't even have the number, unfortunately. There was probably a few there. It looked like a few. But yeah, 18,000 at the Titans home game. Again, if they come good, it'd be nice to see. Then we have the Panthers v Bulldogs. So I tipped the Panthers. I thought they'd win and win well, and that's pretty much what they did. The Dogs, yeah, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know if Dogs fans were actually pretty hopeful, or if they've just more hopeful than previous years, because they've signed some good players for sure, but I don't know, dude. Looking at the team, looking at the players they've signed, I just didn't really see them having a much better year, and it started out pretty badly, dude. And that's the most worrying factor. Taking on the Panthers, who obviously are one of the form teams. They were dominant last year, so going down 28 points is not necessarily the kiss of death, but to come up with two performances against the Knights previous and now the Panthers, conceding a lot of points, it's just not good to start the year. You want to have your, and the same goes with the Bronx as well, and any team that has been bad previously. You want to come out and at least defend well and sort of show that resilience early, because the attack and stuff, it can always improve, but as long as you're defending well and thwarting the attack, then you're always in the game. You're always in the contest. But unfortunately, the Dogs haven't really come out with that fire, which I thought they would. I actually thought they would fire up and play pretty well. Not win, but I thought they'd probably play a little bit better. I thought Kotrick was good for them, the new recruit. But again, he can't really do it's sort of the problem. Kotrick, the only time he looks dangerous is when he's sort of returning a ball from a kick or in a bit of broken field off a loose pass, like when he's crabbing cross field and breaking tackles. I don't really remember him ever getting the footy in like a good backline movement. Like he just doesn't seem to get it off like a nice sweeping play. You look at like the Roosters, perfect example. They swing it out to Josh Morris and Joey Manu regularly and nice and early and just give them time with the footy to do something. And I mean, Kotrick is the guy you want to just do that for. Just give him the footy. Just give him the footy early. Not all the time, but when you're pressing the attack, when you got a nice one-on-one situation, just give him the ball. He breaks that first tackle the majority of time. So yeah, there's a lot to be said to just passing the ball early to your strike players rather than digging into the line is all well and good, but sometimes just give some early footy. Jake Avarillo, I thought he was better. He was definitely better than last week. He actually ran the football, but again, I don't know. He's definitely carrying like an injury. I know he has that elbow strapped and he was a little bit 50-50 for round one. But I mean, that's like, if he's not fit, then he shouldn't really be playing. Like if he's not up to defending, like his defense was better, but if he's not capable of playing 100%, I don't really know why he's out there, because they've, and regardless, you might not think Wakeham or Lachlan Lewis would do better, but I don't know. I'm like, if he's not 100%, or if he is 100%, that he's not looking too sharp, I got to be honest. But Karl Flanagan, I thought, he's trying hard. I can't mock Flanagan too much. He's trying hard in a pretty weak team. This was another player that I know a lot of Dogs fans might have been pretty happy to sign him. I was always a little bit like, really? I mean, he didn't really do the job at a incredible Roosters team. Going to the Dogs, is he really going to do that much? But he's been good. He's been solid. He's been one of their better players for sure. Hetherington, again, I've got to be honest, I've been disappointed with Hetherington. I really thought round one he would come out, and especially against the Panthers, I thought he would fire up and just rip in. But again, he's playing big minutes, but just not providing the impact that I thought he would. And like, dude, coming up against your old club, I thought, I don't know. I can understand, like, he's been in trouble with the judiciary a few times, and I can get the point that he's trying to just rein it back and not give away silly penalties and get suspended. But there's times where you got to fire up, and sometimes you got to risk the odd high shot and stuff. He's got to be their leader and really taking it to them. And I thought against the Panthers he would give it to them, but yeah, a little bit disappointing from Hetherington so far. Josh Jackson was good as always. Fatala Mariner didn't have his best game. I was a bit surprised that they did end up switching him to start, because he didn't play good in round one. I think, did he pick up an injury as well? I think he picked up an ankle injury, right? He had some issue later in the game, I think. Corey Waddell was pretty good off the bench. Jerry Marshall-King was solid, but yeah, the Panthers just dominated him. Kick-out was unstoppable. Fisher, Harris, Leota. Spencer Leniu was great again. Liam Martin. Mitch Kenny obviously played pretty well, filling in for Api Coruscant. Just, not the impact, but just solid as ever, making tackles, giving good service, and that's all he really needed to do. And off the back of that, Cleary and Luai had a field day, and yeah, played. I don't think they were incredible, but they definitely did enough to beat the Dogs in this one. So that was a pretty easy one. Next up, we had the Rabbitohs V Seagulls. So this one, I got to see the first half of this one, and it. I wasn't surprised. I wasn't surprised. It was a lot closer than obviously last week. I knew the Manly's team would come out and fire up. Obviously at halftime was only 14-6. The Rabbitohs, they didn't really run away with it, but they obviously got the rewards. They got a couple of tries. Mitchell scored right before the break, and then 2 tries in the second half. So yeah, it was a win. It was an easy win for the Rabbitohs in the end, but the Seagulls gave them a run for sure. I thought Cook looked a lot better in the first half. Cameron Murray obviously very good like usual. Latrell Mitchell, he's playing some good footy at fullback. And I mean, I picked it at the start of the year. I said Mitchell is in for a big year, so yeah, he's playing very well. I thought Dylan Walker had a bit of a shocker. He's just, I mean, I don't mind Dylan Walker. I know, I know he cops a lot of flack. I think he's a pretty good player, but he's just not comfortable under the high ball. And the problem is the fullback. You need a fullback that's safe under the high ball because you're gonna get peppered and. It's and you can bomb from 50 meters out and then get the footy back. It's a pretty big swing of momentum if your fullback can't really compete for those high ones. So, yeah, Dylan Walker, I don't know. Are they going to persist with him? I think they have to find someone else to go back there. Just someone who can, not make those errors from the high kicks. And it's not easy, going back there and playing out of position. It would be tough. But is he up to it? I don't know, dude. Probably not. I thought Cherry Evans, he had a couple of shocking errors again in the first half, but he obviously came good. Marty DePau looked like he had a better game. Paseka I thought was pretty good. Andrew Davey, dude, disappointing. I don't know if it confirmed that he did his ACL. It definitely looked like an ACL on the replay, which is, disappointing because I was excited to see him. He looked really good for the Eels last year when he came on, and I thought this is a good signing for the Seagulls. I was surprised he didn't get a start in round 1, but obviously he came in originally he came in for Jack Gazewski, who got dropped, but then unfortunately for the Seagulls, Curtis Sirenen was out injured, so both of these guys were starting, and Davey, He's a strong man. He's got a good footwork, got a good offload. So I was excited to see, but injured in like the first couple of minutes. So that was obviously a pretty big loss for the Seagulls there. I thought Schuster, dude, he is a massive kid. He is a huge 5'8". When he came on and played, I'm pretty sure he literally just played in the back row, and he was as big as any other forward out there. He is a massive boy. I love Kieran Foran. I loved him back in the day, but come on. I mean, Schuster, he has to be their starting 5'8". I just can't understand how he is not getting the nod. And I don't know, maybe at the end of the day, I mean, the Seagulls, would they still get beaten comfortably if Schuster was there? Probably. So maybe it's a decent decision from Des not to throw the young kid out to the Wolves basically and get destroyed. Maybe, but I don't know. I think for the future, you have to just send him out there. He's ready for the NRL. But for the Rabbits, like I said, all pretty solid. Cody Walker, not at his absolute best in this one, but he's obviously every time he touches it, he looks dangerous. Adam Reynolds, late in the game he copped a knock, didn't he? Because Latrell kicked a few goals. So it must have been just after halftime Reynolds got injured, but pretty comfortable at the end there for the Rabbits. So the next one, the Cowboys Dragons. So like I said, I did go to watch this game. It's actually the first time I've been and got to see the game at the new Country Bank Stadium, and man, oh man, it's a bloody good stadium. It's so good to watch footy at, for sure. And I don't know, obviously it's obviously fairly different watching a game at the game than on TV. And dude, I know everyone was ripping into the Cowboys and saying they were absolutely terrible. I actually thought, and again, being at the game and also being quite a few beers in, it might sort of blur my judgment a little bit, but I thought it was a pretty good game. Obviously a lot of errors from both teams. It was very humid, it was very hot, so it would have been sweaty, ball would have been slippery. I don't know, the commentators were probably saying that it probably equated for a few of the errors, but watching it, we all thought like the Cowboys threw that win away. Watching it, for the most part, like the Cowboys were definitely out on their feet at times, but I would say for the majority of time, the Dragons were just out on their feet for a lot of that game. And the Cowboys, they would score a try, they would have this momentum, and then they'd just drop it. They'd drop it off. Like, I know Corey Jensen came up with a clean drop. I think Mcguire, a few of their forwards just came up with terrible drops. Pretty much everyone did. And that was when they were on the attack or off a dropout or something. And all of a sudden, momentum killed. The Dragons would go down the other end and score a try. And yeah, the Cowboys could never just pile on the points. They would just score a try, get the momentum back, and then just squander it. So yeah, the Cowboys, it looked for all money they were going to come back and win that game, but they couldn't handle the footy. So yeah, that was disappointing. But I don't know. I thought it was a pretty good game. It was pretty tough in defense. There was some nice attack from both teams. I actually thought, dude, the forwards for the Dragons, Daniel Alvaro, and I think Farmer Silly, they're like little, especially Daniel Alvaro, when he came on, he had so many like little passes before the line that kept putting the other forwards through the gap. Tyrell Afui-Maono, every time the Cowboys were on the attack, Afui-Maono came up with so many big tackles. Like, good Lord, every time I looked up and there was like a big one-on-one tackle, the Cowboys pressing, it was this man, Tyrell Afui-Maono. He had an absolutely outstanding game. And the stats probably don't like show that he was, the most productive player, but geez, he came up with some tackles one-on-one that really turned that game. He was immense. And then I thought, Ben Hunt had a great game, of course. Oh man, the only time Ben Hunt plays really good footy is against the bloody Queensland teams for some reason. It's just, oh, bloody Ben Hunt, dude. And then the Cowboys. I mean, Ehsan Masters, I actually thought had one of his best games I've seen in a long time. I thought Michael Morgan was okay. I thought Clifford, dude, I got it. Yeah, I've said this before. I don't think Clifford should be there. I mean, he's not going to be at the club next year, and I personally think Drinkwater and Morgan should be the halves. Valentine Holmes should be the fullback. Because again, every time Drinkwater and Holmes got their hands on the footy, there was something on. Like they always look dangerous, and you're just like, Holmes has to get more footy, and Drinkwater has to get the footy as well. So just put Drinkwater to 5'8", put Morgan to halfback, and put Holmes to fullback. I just don't understand why Payton is not doing that. Now, I know Drinkwater's defense can be very shoddy, but I don't know, man. I think they have to make that decision. Yeah, I personally think so. And then the forward pack, I actually thought Cohen Hess was pretty good this game. He obviously scored that nice try early, but he actually looked a lot tougher than I've seen him in a while. Ruben Cotter, I thought, looked really good coming in for Tamalolo. Corey Jensen, again, he was probably their best player in round 1, and he was really good in round 2. He came up, like I said, with that massive error, and this was probably the biggest error, because the Cowboys, I think, were back. Yeah, they would have been a try behind. They just got a try. They were pressing. They got another line dropout, and then Jensen off the dropout just dropped the footy, and that pretty much sealed the game. The Dragons from then didn't really have to worry too much, but Jensen was really good other than that. Josh Mcguire, he came up with a terrible error, came up with a terrible missed tackle to let a try in. I don't know. Mcguire, he's been a great player, but I think he's a little bit past it, in my opinion, now. And then Lachlan Burr also came up with a terrible error, but he looked okay as well. But yeah, overall, I mean, the Cowboys, they could have won that game, and they probably should beat the Dragons, but the Dragons, again, they played okay. But yeah, I just think Clifford shouldn't be there. Morgan has to go to halfback, and they have to switch it. But yeah, that's my opinion anyway. Next up, we have the West Tigers Roosters. So again, this one, I did tip the Roosters. I think I did say that the Tigers, they could be a sneaky little roughy pick. Didn't really work out that way. It started okay for the Tigers. Like, again, they looked okay at times. Their defense was okay. I actually thought, and dude, Luke Brooks, I'll talk about him for a second. He started the game really well. Like, he took the line on. His defense is pretty good. I mean, he makes some bad reads in defense, but one-on-one, he's a lot better than he used to be. And he plays pretty tough. Like, I actually think overall his game's pretty good, but then he's very similar to Ben Hunt in that way. He comes up with some terrible errors. In that first half, he came up with like three kicks dead in goal, and they weren't like unlucky bounces or anything like that. They were terrible. Like they were shocking kicks off the boot. You knew this is way too deep. This is awful. And he did that 3 times in a row. And yeah, he looks good, and then he just does stuff like that. So I mean, Luke Brooks, yeah, he I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen there. Dane Laurie, he was exceptional, man. He is such a good player, Dane Laurie. Just absolute live wire. He reminds me a lot of Preston Campbell, honestly, and I think someone said that before, but he honestly does. He's got the footwork, he's got the speed, he's tough as all heck. He was far and away their best player, Dane Laurie. Didn't really get too much of it in the second half, but that first half he was sensational. I thought Tommy Talau actually was okay coming from James Roberts. The way he was okay his first game back. His kicking game was okay. I didn't really see him do too much with ball in hand. Jacob Little, I thought was good. He scored that early try. I think he's been very good for them as well. Luciano was pretty solid, but not great. Their forward pack just didn't really stand up to the Roosters. I actually thought Utukamanu, who, he's got a lot of raps on him, I thought he was pretty good. And I thought Michael Cheekham off the bench was pretty solid as well. But, yeah, the Roosters, I mean, dude, their attack with goddamn Brett Morris. I know they say Brett Morris has been, exceptional for a long time. I feel like Brett Morris the last couple of years has played the best footy he's played his whole career. Like, he has been like incredibly good for the Roosters, and it's not just on the back of being in an amazing team. Like, he's untouchable. Like, he's got this freakish ability to set up tries and score them. He just scores tries, and they're not just like 2-meter run over the line tries. He has been in the best form he has ever been in. It's unbelievable. James Tedesco, what can you say? Again, he scores a couple of tries. You just can't stop him. I don't know. I don't know how you stop him. I mean, you just can't go one-on-one with him, that's for sure, because he just always breaks that first tackle. You've got to hunt him as a pack, but then it leaves other players open. Lachlan Lamb, I thought, was really good. Dude, the baton to Morris was just, that's one of the best touches you'll ever see. I mean, Latrell Mitchell did it in the game with the Rabbitohs as well, but that Lachlan Lamb one, dude, that was unbelievable. The way he got that in and out in wet conditions, that was superb. Luke Keary, great again. Lindsay Collins, solid. Freddie Lussick, obviously coming in for Jake Friend, I thought was really good. And then, the rest of the forward pack just did their job. It just did their job, and they won very convincingly, 40 points to 6. And then the last game, this one. So I did tip the Raiders, so I did get this one up. The Sharkies probably should have won it. Poor old Chardy Townsend absolutely blew it. He missed. Oh man, he missed some absolute shockers. I mean, you look at this, dude. The Raiders scored 2 tries. Well, it was 2 tries apiece in both halves. The Sharks were definitely coming home stronger. And this is a weird game because I've said this before. Obviously, the Raiders now are 2-0, but I know a lot of people are, saying that they're a top 4 team, but and I've sort of downplayed it, and I think they're not I don't know. I'm not convinced with the Raiders. And this is another performance where I'm like, I'm not convinced. Like, they didn't look that good. Like, I mean, the Sharks were also not that good. It's just a weird game to sort of talk about. Like, again, terrible conditions, which, doesn't help for sure. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one to pick. It's a weird one to pick for sure. But the Sharkies, the one thing I do like watching the Sharks games when they're versing just a team that I don't go for, because they're a grubby team, dude. And there's always some niggle. There's always some blues in a Sharks game. So it's always an entertaining game to watch. The Sharks versus someone, and it got a little rowdy there. Some big hits in defense. Like, it was a tough game defensively. The forward packs definitely stood up for both teams, but yeah, poor old Chad. He blew it. He missed. Dude, he missed a sitter for the first try, and then he obviously had to take that penalty goal to get them back to 6. And then he had a couple of chances to level the game and couldn't get the job done. So that's that's it can definitely cost you not having a really good goal kicker. So, yeah, the Sharks go down. The Raiders, pretty good. William Kennedy was outstanding. Dude, I don't know what they're going to do when Johnson comes back. I'm like, Kennedy cannot be dropped from fullback. Like, surely they cannot drop Kennedy. Obviously, Johnson comes back in. Does Townsend just get dropped? Maybe. Does Moylan just get dropped? Maybe. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I mean, surely one of these two have to. You cannot drop Kennedy. Obviously, Johnson's not for a while away, so a lot of things can happen between there. But Kennedy was outstanding. I thought Blake Brayley was pretty good. Hamlin Ueli. Britton Nakora, good defensively. Toby Rudolph, definitely one of their best again. Connor Tracy, dude, he's another guy that's like Connor Watson, who's very valuable. I do think he needs more minutes. Like, he came on, he replaced Hiroti, who had a bit of a shocker, but I mean, Connor Tracy, he is an absolute live wire. I'm surprised he didn't get more minutes in this game. And then the Raiders, I mean, Ryan James, again, good to see him uninjured, but he had a good game again. He looks really, really fit, really strong for the Raiders, coming off the bench, playing pretty big minutes. Tarpany looked good. Hudson Young had another stellar game. Josh Papali'i had a great game. He was pretty quiet in round 1. Didn't play many minutes, but he definitely stood up in this one and had a good game. Jack Wyden, again, the halves for the Raiders, I mean, George Williams and Wyden looking a little bit out of sorts. They're okay. I mean, Wyden obviously great defensively still, but just, a few errors in his game. But again, bad conditions. You can't be too critical. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll come good. But, yeah, not looking as smooth. And then the outside backs. Honestly, the outside backs, obviously Jared Croker will come into this team. But, Curtis Scott I'm not a huge fan of. Jordan Rapana, he's a bit past it. He used to be one of the best wingers going around. So, yeah, I don't know, dude. The Raiders, I'm not convinced. But they keep winning, so I'll probably be proven a fool there. But that's the round 2 wrap up, the round 2 review. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.